What's going on, you guys? My name is Austin. Today I'm going to be kind of introducing my new YouTube channel, which is called SemiSaucin. It's essentially going to be about my trucking journey. I'm a brand new semi-truck driver. I'm going through CDL training at Swift Academy. I've seen a lot of YouTube videos with a lot of different guys that have gone through Swift Academy, and there's a lot of stuff that's negative or, misconstrued information. And I kind of like what they did, and they were, vlogging their process and being very transparent with people who are maybe thinking about getting their CDL and maybe going through a mega carrier like Swift for their academy training. And so I just wanted to, with this video, kind of go into detail on, a little bit about me, a little bit about what got me into trucking, and my process so far with Swift Academy. And then I'll be posting videos weekly going forward with updates regarding how that's going. And then even as far as when I upgrade, I will do vlogs of like my runs and my drives and whatnot. So I'm gonna try to shoot it all in one video, so we're gonna try to stay on topic here. So I am 26 years old. What got me into trucking was my father. At least what influenced it. My dad has been doing driving for probably 20 to 25 years. He does hazmat. He's got all his endorsements and stuff. And from the time I was 21, he pretty much told me, hey, if you ever want to drive, if you ever need work like this, I can get it done for you. I'll help you get your CDL, whatever, and we'll do it. I kind of ended up going my own route. I wanted to do it my own way. I really didn't want to ride my dad's coattails because he's pretty well known in the industry, at least out here in Arizona. So I didn't really want to ride his coattails. I kind of wanted to do it on my own accord and make my own name for myself and just do whatever I wanted to. My dad probably wouldn't have told me to go with Swift Academy. He probably would have let me drive on his truck, do it himself, and then get my CDL myself and then go with some other company that he works for. I wanted to do it my own way, get my own experience and get my own experience, whether it's good or bad. But at least I learn in my own ways. So Swift was definitely something that I have done my research. I know the reputation they have, and it was just something for me that I was like, this was something that might be cool. I'm gonna try this, and see how it goes. As far as my plans, my dad's an owner-operator. Everybody says that's where the money's at. And again, I've heard a lot of discrepancies in that statement, whether it's, it's fluff or whether you're just handling a lot of money or, you pay for all the other stuff. So me going into trucking, I kind of want to get my own hands-on experience and my own opinions based off of, what the true reality of all those, theories are, or everybody he said, she said. I want to get my own opinion firsthand. So my goal would obviously be to go through the Swift Academy, and for those of you who know how it works, I think the cost now is about $8,000, and they do some type of tuition sharing program. So you pay $50 a week for the first 12 months. They're gonna match that $50 a week for the first 12 months. So if you stay with them for a year, you only pay about $2,400. And then if you make it through the 12 months, on the 13th month, they pay off the remainder of your tuition. So instead of paying $8,000, you only pay $2,400, which is a pretty good deal. But if you leave at any time, or even if you switch your driver status and you go owner-operator early, you're then entitled to pay the $8,000. So you're kind of stuck for the first 12 months. You can't really venture outward, and you can, but you'd have to pay that money back. I'm okay with that because, again, I'm a rookie. I understand what starting from the bottom means. You're probably not going to get the best routes. You're probably not going to get the best pay. But that's something that I'm willing to do because I know that there is good money to be made in this industry long term. Whether it's with Swift or not, I know it's out there. My goal would probably be to be an owner-operator at some point in time. I don't really care to do anything more than dry van and reefer. I obviously, right now I live in Arizona, so I'm not tying anything down. I'm not tarping anything or throwing chains on the back of a flatbed truck in the middle of Arizona heat when we have excessive heat warnings and all that jazz. That's why I'm leaving my current job, because I drive right now for another company that just does box van and stuff, and my AC went out and they don't want to fix it. And so I'm like, you know, this is the time for a career change. Let me try something new. Let me branch out and let me just see how it goes. So I've been doing this. I'm going in today. I'm charging my Tesla right now because fuck gas prices. But I am on my way to the Swift Academy to start week 4. So to break it down for you guys how the academy process actually works, you can do it in 4 weeks, but because I was working a full-time job at the time, I opted to do the part-time, which is 8 weeks. So they just break it up into 2 weeks instead of 1. So the first 2 weeks, depending on when you come in, because they straddle you, so like every 2 weeks there's a new group of people coming in. So when I came in, it was getting your CDL permit and learning the pre-trip inspection and doing your walk-arounds on the truck. In my honest opinion, I feel like the way that I came in was kind of shitty because there was a lot of built-up suspense and excitement to get on the trucks, and then I kind of got cock-blocked because if you were to do it the right way, because now there's a law that you have to do ELDs, which is entry-level driving training, and you have to do that through some type of carrier before you can get your CDL. That's something that was passed in like February. It's something new. So ideally what you would want to do is the guys that came in 2 weeks after me, I would have wanted to come in when they came in because they do the 2 weeks of ELD, which is like in class, like you're going through slideshows and watching videos about safety and about, pretty much just an extensive breakdown of your CDL. And you have to take quizzes after and all this stuff. So I think that if I would have came in at that point in time, it definitely would have been more exciting for me around this time, week 3, week 4. Because for like the way that should work is you should do ELD week 1, do all your quizzes and stuff. You do ELD week 2, do all your quizzes and stuff. And then the third week would be like your CDL practice, they give you an app to download and they give you the book and you go through all that. That's like the extent of their like preparation for the exam. So I would go through all that, and then week 4 would be like, obviously if you still haven't passed your test, you get your CDL permit, and then you're doing a pre-trip. So you go through those 4 weeks, and then starting week 5, you're on the range, and you're starting your backing maneuvers, and you're starting to do like, laps around the range and stuff, and from there you go to like road time and stuff. That's like, I feel like the ideal order of the way it was supposed to go, because then you go through the boring classroom shit, and then you go get your permit, you're excited, you've got your permit, yes, oh my god, I'm about to go drive this car, and then you do the pre-trip, and you're like, oh my god, like now I know how to go walk around it, and then boom, week 5, you're driving. Whereas like for me, I did CDL permit, like, oh my god, I got my permit, and then week 2, pre-trip, oh my god, like I'm about to go around, and get in the truck, and then boom, week 3, I'm in the classroom for 2 weeks doing this boring classroom stuff. So like, I get it, they're trying to filter in as many guys as they can, so like, they don't want to start everybody at week 1 ELD, so like they slide us in with the guys that are going in through like permit stuff. They just start sliding you guys in with other people, which is cool, I don't mind. I would have rather done that than wait another 2 weeks to start at the right order. I'm not complaining too much about that, but so far my experience has been pretty good. Like I said, week 1 was really about getting our permits. The extent of their education as far as like what they provide for you, they give you a book, a CDL manual book, and they've highlighted pretty much everything in the book that applies to the test. Everything you read is probably a question in your exam, whether it's general knowledge, air brakes, or combinations. And then week 2, they give you a month. They say you have to have a month before you get your permit, but the extent of their training period for that is 1 week. After that, they're moving on to pre-trip. So pre-trip, you go out there and they're teaching you how to do it. They give you a sheet with everything on it, and they kind of just let you walk around it. They do it like 1 or 2 times, and then if you have questions, they go over everything. But other than that, like it's about it. It's kind of self-taught. You go through the list, you kind of find a system that works best for you, because you don't have to do it verbatim. At least from what I know. You don't have to do it verbatim. You can kind of make it your own, as long as you are hitting the key components that are on that list that are going to be tested on. It doesn't really matter how you word it, as long as they know that you know what you're looking at and what you're checking for. That's how week 2 kind of goes. Week 3 was last week. So that's ELD, and that's your entry-level driver training. It's literally in a classroom, you're staring at a projector all day, and it's just chapter after chapter of stuff. If you've gone in the order that I went in, it's stuff you already know. You know what I mean? Like, there is a pre-trip section, so stuff to go over during the pre-trip. There is a section about combinations and stuff. There's a chapter about safety. There's a chapter about distractions and how to maintain focus on the road. Stuff like that. And it's all for safety. You know, one of the bad reputations that Swift has is that, you know, you always see a car on the side of the road, or a truck broke down on the side of the road, and it's a Swift truck, and they're like, oh, Swift, oh, you can't drive, what are you doing, buddy, you can't park there, stuff like that. So they have this reputation that they're not safe and their pay sucks. If their pay sucks, their pay sucks. In my opinion, like, you know, you're gonna have jobs. It's just now that people are starting to pay over like $10 an hour, and it's because nobody wants to work right now in the world. So you have these fast food restaurants that are offering $50 an hour now. When I was working in the fast food industry, I was making $9 an hour. So, you know, things are going up, you know what I mean? And if, you know, the pay is low, you gotta get your feet wet. You know what I mean? If you're gonna complain about low money, then don't even get in the business. It's the same as every job. Like in a sales job, you would not go in there and expect to make $100,000 your first year unless you picked it up and killed it, which I feel like kind of applies to the trucking industry. If you get into it and you're doing really good, they're gonna get you longer routes. They might bump your pay. I don't know exactly how that works, but you know, I would assume you would be incentivized to continue to push harder and work harder. So going into week 4, I know that I'm going in, my car's at about 50-60%, so I've got about 20 more minutes of charging, and then I'm gonna go down there. And I'm at the Phoenix terminal. I'm at like the main hub for Swift. That's the one I'm training at. But I know when I go in there today, it's gonna be ELD, and I know it's gonna be boring, Monday through Friday. It's gonna suck. But I know that come next Monday, I will be on the range, and I will be starting, you know, straight backing and probably offsets. And obviously, like, harnessing my craft as far as, like, the pre-trip goes, really honing that down, getting ready for the CDL test. The one thing that I think is cool that they do, in my opinion, is that the guys that do your instructors in the academy are CDL certified, essentially. So what that means is that when you go out there and you go to take your CDL test, you don't have to go to the DMV and, like, drive a random truck with a random guy with a clipboard. It's going to be one of your instructors that you have met already, and I just feel like that gives you more comfort. You know what I mean? You're in a truck that you've already probably driven. You're with an instructor that you've probably had a handful of conversations with, and it just gives you a more relaxed environment. You're not so stressed. You're not panicking because, like, oh, like this guy, you know, there's no intimidation factor. This is the guy you've probably been cracking jokes with for the last 8 weeks. So that gives me relief because I'm a very antisocial person. It takes me a while to get comfortable with somebody, and, you know, when you start cracking jokes, you start opening up, you kind of let your guard down, and you can, you know, you accept all that they give to you. So I'm excited for that aspect. I love, my instructor's cool as shit. We crack jokes all the time. He's super cool. So all 3 of them are really cool. So no matter which one I get when it's time for my exam, I know that I'll be comfortable, which is good. That's something that we want, right? We want to be comfortable with a big test like that. That's going to give you your license. That's going to put you behind that big old truck, you know. To kind of close, again, I know they have a bad rep. In my honest opinion, in the last 3 weeks, I have not really seen any complaints, except for just maybe lack of communication between the recruiters and the instructors. Because when we ask, you know, a trend that I've seen is that every person that's in there in that classroom usually asks the recruiter something about, you know, how long you're actually out on certain routes, whether you're doing OTR or you're doing dedicated, you know, which ones pay more, whether it's drag van, reefer, flatbed, etc., or, you know, how much the pay is. I feel like all the students were told something different, and none of the instructors know the answer. So it's like, they're like, oh, well, you have to get with your recruiter, or you have to wait until you graduate and you have to talk to your driver leader, which is cool. I mean, that's better than just, like, lying. But, you know, for example, when I talked to my recruiter, they said they sold me on dedicated because I have 2 kids. I don't want to be gone for weeks on end, you know, unless it was, like, loading my pockets, unless it was really worth it. So when I talked to the recruiter, I said, I'm down to do this stuff. I'm down to be gone for a couple days, but I don't want to be gone for weeks. And they said, okay, you're probably going to want to do dedicated. The way that they broke down their dedicated route for the Arizona area that they're building is essentially you would be doing California, Nevada. The pay range is $1,300 to $1,600 a week, or I'm sorry, $1,500. $1,300 to $1,500 a week, and you're gone for 5 days and then you're off for 2. So for me, I'm like, sold, done, easy, right? That's cool. I have no complaints there. That's good money. It was more money than what I was making on my last job. And you're in a truck with AC, which for me right now is huge because I didn't have that. And I still get time with my family. That's the most important thing for me. So I feel like, and then I was talking to other guys, and other guys were like, oh, I was told it was 2 days on, 1 day off. Or I was told it was 4 days on, 3 days off. Which all those answers are fine with me, but like, I don't like inconsistency. So if every recruiter is telling their recruits different things, when we all get into a classroom together, they have to know that we're gonna chatter, right? And we're gonna talk and we're gonna compare what we were told. I don't know. That's for me. That's something so small. Like if I'm like reaching, and obviously it would become a bad thing if at one point in time when I get out on the routes that the money is not what they say it is, and I'm not home when they said I was gonna get home, then we have a problem. But as of right now, again, I'm just taking it by day. I'm enjoying the process. I'm totally open-minded. I take in everything that my instructors tell me, and I didn't go into this nitpicking everything because, oh, these guys on the internet said this about Swift, or oh, Swift's rep this, oh, Swift rep that. I'm not picking it apart. I'm going into it as if I've never heard of Swift before, and I just want to get my damn CDL. And that's what I feel like a lot of people should do. If you are so stuck up on Swift's bad rep, go to Roadmaster or go somewhere else that will, Prime, I think, does it. They'll do a driving program, but, then don't go to Swift. I'm not a guy that gossips and stuff, so I don't, whatever the word is, and I want to go verify what it is. If it is that, cool, then I will probably be looking somewhere else to drive once I get my CDL and hope that they can pay my tuition or something. I don't know. We'll be looking at that point later down the road. Right now, it's today. I have Swift Academy School. That's the only thing on my agenda. I hope to be with these guys for a while. I would love to at least do the first year and get my tuition paid off, and then at that time look into like lease operator or owner operator options and kind of maximize that way. But yeah, that's kind of my intro. SemiSaucin. There's going to be a lot more to come. I'm excited. There's a potential teammate of mine that might be joining along, so in 6 months or so it might turn into a team channel. We're not 100% sure. We're still working it out, but let me know. Leave some comments below and give me some feedback. What maybe things to look forward to, maybe some pointers, or even if you have information on like owner operator and lease operator, tips and tricks. I would love to get feedback. I've seen from the YouTube videos that I've seen before that the trucking community is huge, and they're all very supportive, and they all like to at least give some proper feedback. So if you guys, want to leave some feedback for me, or at least some helpful tips going forward, I would love to have that in the comments below. But again, SemiSaucin, you'll be seeing me around. Have a good one, you guys.